Hey y'all, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Vlogmas video. We got the Crazy Cat tree shirt on today. My dad got me this for Christmas last year and every time I wear it, I think about my dad. It's so much fun. It's wild and crazy, just like me and my dad. So anyway, there is 9 books. I got 9 books here to talk about. I'm pretty sure it's 9. And so much going on this month. Lots of good Christmas reads, a lot of 5-star reads, just loving everything that I'm reading. Let's get into it. Books that I'm going to talk about in this video are Christmas reads. So I'm going to talk about the first 2 books that are not Christmas reads, and then we'll talk about the Christmas reads. How about that? So it fits because the first book I read this month was a non-Christmas read, and that was Legacy of Mercy by Lynn Austen. Baby girl, I got it done. So I chatted with her about this, and I ended up rating this 5 stars. Me and her love this book so much. This is book 2 in a duology. Book 1 is Waves of Mercy. This was in my 5-star prediction video, and your girl rated it 5 stars. I knew I'd love this, okay? So it just completely blew me away. I loved it so much more than book 1. I can't really say a whole lot because it is book 2, but I was shocked. I was crying. Loved what was happening. And yeah, Lynn Austen is basically the best storyteller, and I highly recommend it. So in book 2, we continue the story with Anna, Dirk, and Keisha, and wow, just everything going on there. My heart. I still love Keisha most of all. There was a new character introduced here as well. Cornelia and her grandfather. Cornelia is this young 17-year-old girl. She has a very tragic past, and Keisha is pretty much trying to help her through her healing. And then Anna, however you want to say it, she is trying to find answers still to her family's past and decide what to do with her marriage situation. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire gist of what's going on in here without giving spoilers away. Lynn, I really just feel like has wrote these characters, y'all, that like they truly live off the page in this book. Like, I don't know what it is. I listened some to the audio and the audio is really good. I highly recommend it, but like they just feel so real, and I love that in a historical fiction. The romance, it's in my heart. You know, the only thing about the romance is like I wanted it sooner, so I will say that. But, you know, Keisha and her story and everything that she was doing to help Cornelia, my heart, I was so invested in that more so than the romance, but I still really like the romance as well. Also, the Lord was working in this book, y'all. I was captivated. Okay, like this story really reminded us that God, you will use our difficult circumstances and our experiences for the good of others if we let him. That was something that was said multiple times in this book, and the continuation in this gives us a lot of spiritual truths that I think a lot of us will pick up on and love, and that we can all learn from. So yeah, I highly recommend reading Waves of Mercy book 1 and going on to book 2, because why did I wait so long? I'm pretty sure I read book 1 like a babe, so you know. But yeah, I highly recommend y'all pick this up. Do it, 5 stars. So yeah, then I'll talk about the next book that I read that's not a Christmas read, and y'all already know, Becky Wade.
Y'all already know, Becky Wade.
Becky Wade, let it be me. I did a whole vlog on this, okay? So y'all already know my thoughts. I gave it 5 stars. Was there any doubt on that? Because just fantastic. I really want to reread Stay With Me. I'm definitely already planning on reading book 3 in January, so there is that. But yeah, we love a good Becky Wade. And honestly, this book, I don't know, like the characters and everything she did in this story was amazing. So this is focusing on Leah and Sebastian, and they just had the best chemistry in this, y'all. I don't know. I'm going to try not to say too much because I already talked a lot about this in the vlog. Most of y'all done seen that. What's really great about Becky Wade's writing, like I said in that vlog, is like she does a backstory so well that's not the romance and ties in the romance in a beautiful way. Top tier. Like, and then the faith content gets thrown in. We here, okay? So yeah, this is book 2 in the Misty River series, and the whole story is pretty much centered around Leah trying to figure out who her birth parents are because she takes a DNA test, realizes that she was like, what's going on? Was she, I almost said something. She realizes that her parents were not who she thinks she is, and she doesn't know if her parents lied to her, was she switched at birth. She's trying to figure all those things out. And I almost said spoiler, my bad. Transparency, but I was talking and it not come out. But anyway, yeah, so she took that DNA test, and so she was trying to figure out what happened, all these things. She has a little brother that she takes care of. I don't think I talked much about him in the vlog, but I love just her passion for her family and everything with her brother was beautiful to see. And so she meets this guy, her paths cross with Sebastian. He is a children's or pediatric, I guess you'll say, heart doctor, and they connect, and he starts helping her with his connections in the hospital to try to figure out what happened in her past with her birth parents, and the story goes on from there. And so, yeah, everything kind of gets crazy. We got this guy, Ben, thrown in here, though, because Ben had his head. It's crazy, I already said. Sebastian is friends with Ben. Ben likes Leah. This whole thing was crazy. Sebastian likes Leah, too. So the tea was hot in the beginning of this book, and I was here for it. It was so crazy. But by the middle of it, we appreciate you being. So that's what I'm saying. So anyway, yeah. This is just not your typical romance story, though. Like, that's what I love, like I said, about Becky Wade's story. We're here, we're here, we're here. And I cannot wait to read book 3. I don't even know what else to say about this, but read Becky Wade. First book, Stay With Me, read it. You could technically read this, I think, out of order. Like, there really wasn't, I don't think, anything that would spoil book 1. But I don't know, just read book 1. It kind of gives you backstory of the characters that are in this a little bit. So, all right. So the first Christmas book I read this month was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I ain't never read this. Who am I? Everybody seems like they've read this, and I just haven't. So yeah, I'm just trying to work my way through all the classics and different things. And I've never even seen A Christmas Carol movie. Let me know down below in the comments which one y'all think I need to watch, because reasons I have not watched one, but I kind of knew what this was. It was the classic story of Ebenezer Scrooge. Everybody kind of knows the tale of that. And, you know, we've got the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, and all those things. And it was just a good time. I gave this 4 stars. I had a hard time understanding some of Dickens' writing. I think if I reread it, I'd understand it more. I did listen a little bit on audio with it, but yeah, I still really enjoyed it. You know, he's just Scrooge. Everybody knows what a Scrooge is. You all know, like, he's just greedy. He's grouchy. He doesn't like Christmas. He's selfish, and he has this bad attitude. But then these ghosts start visiting him and showing him things, and all the transformation starts to happen. And so, yeah, I had a good time reading this, and I really want to watch the movie. So, yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. And I love this edition that I have. So much fun. And then the next one, okay, let's look at the notes because reasons. The next Christmas book that I read was The White Christmas Inn by Colleen Wright. I already talked a little bit about this in a tag video recently, but this is so heartwarming. It's just so cute, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I feel like it is one of the best Christmas books I've read so far. And I haven't read that many, but it's up there. And it's hard to top. It just, yeah. We just have so many great characters in this story. A lot of, like, a mixed bag. We've got, let me make sure I get the names right because, yeah, I can't remember names. I've read so many things. But Molly, she is an author. She comes in. And so this guy, Marcus, comes in. He's a widower. He has 2 young girls. And he, like, meets up with her and things starts going down. You got Hannah. Her wedding was supposed to go down. But plans went crashing down, just like it says in the synopsis, and it's not good. So she don't know if she's gonna be able to find love. But then her childhood friend, Luke, he come in to check on his grandmother before the storm. Could there be some more romance on that? Hey, we'd love to see that. And then we got the owners of the inn, Jenny and Tim, and they don't know how they're gonna keep the inn open because of all of these different things going on. And there's like distance between them in their marriage, and so all these different guests come in, and things just are so beautiful how it all unwinds, and like you just see all of the different character stories intertwine, and it's beautiful. So I don't know, that's just the best way I can explain it, just giving you a little rundown on some of the characters. It's just great. So I highly recommend it. It's cute, it's clean, and it really makes you feel the magic of Christmas. I highly recommend. Thank you, Oshina, for another good recommendation because we love to see it. If Oshina loves it, your girl gonna love it. So, and then the next book I read was our Christian book club pick this month, and that is Catching Christmas. I also give this 5 stars. Hey, I don't know, there was something about this that was just so heartwarming and sweet with the romance. I loved the guy Finn in this story. Top tier, okay? So this story is pretty much about a cab driver, once gourmet chef, named Finn Parrish. And he is forced to pretty much continue driving around this woman, this elderly woman, Miss Callie. And she's like this spunky grandmother, but she has some health and memory problems. And so the back of this synopsis talks about her having dementia. So you know that going in. And like from chapter 1, you know that she's struggling with memory problems that appear to be dementia. So just like a trigger warning for that. If I mention that for content, because I know this could be a tough read for some people. It was very emotional for sure. But Miss Callie is having Finn drive her around, and she keeps thinking about her granddaughter, Sydney. And her granddaughter is very busy, and she's his first-year law associate. She's struggling to meet the needs of her grandmother with all of her doctor's appointments. So she's like trying to make her court cases and everything go through well without getting fired. So she calls his cab and says, hey, this cab company, and says, hey, I need someone to take my grandmother to the doctor. And that's how Finn and Callie end up meeting up, and everything goes on from there. Callie keeps calling Finn, hey, come pick me up, all this stuff. And he's kind of like, what do you mean? How am I going to get paid? And all this stuff. And he soon realizes he's got some things going on in his past with his mother that it was left unresolved, that he feels the need to continue helping Miss Callie and thinking about her and wanting to help her, and it's beautiful. Finally, Finn and Sydney cross paths, and everything goes on from there. You know, you're learning more about Finn's past. You're learning about what's going on with Sydney and why she's struggling so much with keeping up with her grandmother. She doesn't have any help, and you really just feel like so drawn to all the characters, and Miss Callie is so precious. My heart. She really reminds me of my grandmother, and anytime I have a grandmother in a story, they always remind me of at least one of my grandmothers. And it's an emotional read. I did cry in this. It's a tearjerker. I did laugh because Miss Callie was funny. Yeah, and I don't know, I was just really connected to the characters. It's magical, and it captured my heart so much. It just reminded me, like I said, of beautiful memories with my grandmothers. I do want to mention that if you have a loved one who is struggling with dementia, this could be a very hard read. So just want to mention that. But it still was just, it's such a different type of Christmas read than like your others that we normally read at Christmas time. And it really touched my heart. So yeah, I give this 5 stars. I hope a lot of y'all I know a lot of y'all picking this up. Hope a lot of y'all have enjoyed it as well. Love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Loved Finn. He was really my favorite character of the story. And then we had Callie, and I like Sydney too, but you know, I loved Finn so much for so much of his background and his transformation in a way. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. And the next book that I read was a novella, The Wish Book Christmas. I love this so much. I ended up listening to this on audio. It's a very short audiobook, and this is meant to be read after If I Were You by Lynn Austin, which I've not read. So I don't know if I was even spoiled or not reading this book two, or whatever you want to say, this Christmas novella with these characters, but I really want to read If I Were You now because this made me love these characters. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Oshina, she recently read this and recommended it. So, you know, again, hey girl, I picked it up. It was on Hoopla, so I grabbed it. And it was just a quick listen. Like we got just enough backstory of these women and their journeys that it makes me want to know more about it in the first book, If I Were You. And I do have it on my shelf. So, but this book is set in 1951 Connecticut, and it's all about these 2 little boys, Bobby and Harry, and they're obsessed with this reminds me of my childhood. Y'all remember when the catalogs come in? They are obsessed with the Sears catalog, basically. Sears Christmas wish book, I guess. And so they're obsessed, and the whole first part of it cracked me up because it just reminded me of me and my brother, because we would get the little book and we'd be like, oh, I want this, and that's what they're doing, you know. And so the 2 moms are single moms. They've been through a lot in their lives. They have a hard past, so you kind of got bits and pieces of what has happened to them in their life. But like I said, I really want to read the first book. But both the moms are just kind of wondering, are these boys gonna know what Christmas means? They keep taking that Christmas wish book everywhere, and I was cracking up because every time their mamas turn around, them boys had that Christmas book. It's like like, where did this come from? So I was like, okay, I can relate. This was so great because the mothers were able to really show these boys the true meaning of Christmas, all about Jesus. They teach them the meaning of Christmas through the wise men, through like a school play, and it was just beautiful. So it was heartwarming, and it truly teaches you the meaning of Christmas. I loved it. The narrator on this is phenomenal. So anything this narrator would read, I'd be reading it, okay? So yeah, we love to see it. Good Christmas read, and it's 4 out of 5 stars for me. Loved it. Okay. All right, y'all. You ready on this? The next one I did, okay. Well, the next one I read was Pepper Basham. Y'all already know the Mistletoe Countess. I talked about this also in my vlog. I love this book so much. It's the romance for me, okay? It truly is. I really feel like anything that Pepper writes, I'm going to love at this point. Like, her writing style, she puts humor in here. The characters are just so much fun. And it was just a great romantic mystery. And I love Christian romance. Love a good mystery. You put them together, hey, we love to see it. And I can't wait to read book 2. And it's just, this wasn't, I wouldn't say like, full of Christmas vibes, but it's the best little Christmas book to read at Christmas time. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just felt like all the vibes from it at the same time, you know? Our main character of Grace was my favorite. She made me laugh. I was cheering her on, and I just loved how she always stood up for the truth and what was right. And she's someone that I can see being best friends with Honey. So she reminded me of myself so many times. But yeah, this book, it was a romance for me, honestly. Like, this was set in 1913 in Virginia and England. And so basically the story is centered around Grace, who has to take her sister's place for crazy reasons. Honey, I was like, girl, she over here, she's spitting the truth, okay? So, if you know, you know, I mean, she like, then you shouldn't have been doing this. So it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But she took her sister's place because her sister was supposed to be married to this guy, Frederick. It was through this contract, this whole thing, because Frederick needed to marry this wealthy woman. His family's estate's crazy, all this drama going on with that, and he's supposed to marry one of the daughters. And so her sister Lilia's, honey, stuff was going on, okay? And so Grace like, you're going to have to do this because this ain't right. What you plan on doing ain't right. So I'm going to take your place. That's basically it, okay? Without spoiling, that's it, okay? That's the high level version, okay? And so, yeah, so Grace and Frederick, they get married. She goes off with him back to England, and is at his estate. The mother is like not happy about Grace, and all this crazy stuff's going on, and they're just trying to learn how to be married as a couple. And I loved the romance, and honestly, like, there is a closed door scene between a married couple in this, but like for me, I was fine with it, just because it felt so beautiful. They were a married couple in the eyes of the Lord, and the way that it was done was good, in my opinion. I just loved it. I loved their intimacy of how they were trying to get to know each other. And they honestly reminded me of like an early Jamie and Claire from Outlander, like the clean version, I'll say, you know, because Outlander is explicit and this is not. And to me, it's just like that vibe and feeling that where I love Jamie and Claire from Outlander so much. Y'all already know. Yeah, honestly, I think Grace and Frederick are my top 5 couples of the year right there. They right there at it. I think they were just so refreshing together. They were not perfect. Everything was just realistic, you know? And it's great to see them married and working together and growing to love each other. And yeah, even in the messiness of this, honey, I mean, there was some stuff happening, but it was realistic, you know? And so, yeah. I also like how they were trying to be like these little sleuths going back and forth, honey. They trying to like figure things out, and this little mystery that showed up. So, yeah. I love a good cozy mystery anyway, so it was great vibes on that. So, yeah. 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely adore it. I can't wait to read book 2. It comes out in February. The faith content in this was also really good, by the way. And it was just like fun and unique and all that good stuff. So, yeah. I can't wait to see what Grace and Frederick get into next, y'all. We love to see it. Yeah, I'm just saying, anything that Pepper writes, I'm gonna love it. I know it. That is the 4th book of hers I've read now, And she's like, auto buy, okay? So anyway, the next book I read was The Bridge by Karen Kingsbury. Y'all, I was so emotional with this. I cried like 4 times. This is set in Tennessee, about an hour away from where I live. I really want to go visit the bookshop that this is based on, but I also need to watch the movie. I've never watched both movies. I didn't know there was 2. So yeah, there's 2 movies. They're Hallmark movies. And I think there's even a prequel, like a 68-page short novella. So I've got that on my Kindle. I'm going to go back and read it as well, because I think it focuses a little bit more on the couple who owned the bookshop, which is where I was like, I loved them. Like, that was really my focus on this book. Okay, I was just really invested in them more so than the romance. I said 5 stars, but then the more I thought about it, it's really 4 stars, just because like the romance I wasn't as involved, like invested in, as I was with the owners of the bookstore and their story, but it was still really great. This story follows Molly and Ryan, and Ryan is this guy who plays country music. He lives in Nashville, all the things, and he had met Molly, and they would always meet at the bookstore, The Bridge, and so they got to know each other, but something crazy happens, which that's the thing. What happened to push them apart? It's like, really, but I get it. And so they basically split for several years. Was it 7 years maybe that they were apart? And then there's something that happens with the owners of the bookshop. It's devastating, and they end up coming back together, and everyone starts trying to help the owners of the bookshop because they're struggling. They don't know if they're going to able to keep the bookshop open. A situation that occurs that's heartbreaking, and you're just praying that the situation gets resolved, like you need a Christmas miracle, so to say. And so my heart, I was crying. So the owners of this, I should have said their names, but Charlie and Donna, I love them so much. I may have already said their names, my bad, but I love them. They were just real. What they have been through in their life was heartbreaking, but seeing how God worked in their lives was amazing. I really connected with them. Like I said, I wasn't really the biggest fan of like Molly and Ryan. They were just fine. I love this cover. The ending of this was so heartwarming, so faith-filled. Loved it, okay? So it's a really cute holiday Christmas romance, y'all, with some really great bookstore vibes. So I highly recommend this as well. We love good Karen Kingsbury. She always be in the fields, y'all. Karen has always got something to make you cry, honey. Okay, and the last book I read, which I just finished today, was A Christmas in the Alps by Melody Carlson. I haven't even wrote my Goodreads review on this, but I don't know. I just don't know. Like, it's fine. I don't know if I'm going to give it 3.5 to 4 or just 3.5. I liked it just fine. I don't know. I just didn't connect with the characters as much. Melody Carlson's kind of like a hit or miss for me. So, I don't know. I did really like the mysterious aspect of this. So, basically, this is about Simone. She finds a letter from her great-grandmother saying that she had left her a treasure in France. Simone, she's afraid to fly. She goes to fly to France. She meets this guy, of course, Kyle, on the plane, and they end up going their separate ways, but they end up meeting back up in France. France. Was it Paris? I don't know. I can't be bothered. I had to stop filming real quick, come back, but yeah, basically, she met Kyle on the plane, and they're like working together to figure out in France all the stuff surrounding the missing treasure, possible treasure, and there's some people that like don't love that she's there, and things get crazy. So yeah, I like this, but it wasn't like there for me. Melody Carlson's kind of like hit or miss for me. I did read, the first one I ever read by her was Christmas by the Sea, and I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I didn't love it. But then A Quilt for Christmas was like my favorite 5-star, you know? Like, I don't know, there's just something about hit or miss there, you know? And they're just good cheese a lot of times. I did like the France stuff in this. At first, I wasn't crazy about it, but then I kind of grew into it. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give it 3.5. I don't know, we'll just say that. I don't know what I'm going to actually give it. So, yeah, those are all the books that I read. Sorry if it's kind of incoherent. I looked at my notes a ton. I know I didn't make the best eye contact. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm trying to get this done so I can get it up by Saturday for Vlogmas and all the things. So, yeah, transparency. But I love y'all. I hope that you've been enjoying the Vlogmas videos. So many great comments. And I've been enjoying everybody else's Vlogmas videos as well. And I do have a bookshelf tour that's coming out. soon. So I don't remember if that's the next one after this or not, but I hope that y'all like it. It was like 40 minutes. I tried the best I could. So anyway, as far as like what I want to read the rest of the month, more Christmas books, okay? Definitely a lot of Christmas novellas. I've got some more audiobooks that I need to get through. Personal Librarian's one of them. That was one that was on my 5-star predictions. Gonna get to it. Y'all have the best day. It's on the weekend when this comes out. Hope you're having the best day. And I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.